Hello, my name is Paul Apter, and I did a leadership capstone project for CBTC. My topic is leadership in food truck business, a case study of select food truck businesses in Eau Claire. My purpose statement is the purpose of the study was to investigate the food truck business in Eau Claire and the role leadership can play in making it a viable and profitable business. My literature review, there's 12 food trucks in 2018 from WQOW.com, News 18, March 15, 2018. There's 0 licensed food trucks in city streets and public parks to sell. And I got this information from calling the City Hall. There's 5 licensed food trucks in a private property. Once again, I called the City Hall to get that information. There's a lack of food truck research. There was very little literature, and what there was, it was pretty much repetitious of the same thing. My problem statement. The problem that the City of Eau Claire faces in the food truck business is the process of licensing. It's tough and it's strict for licensing and guidelines and policies. People are going somewhere else because of no support from the city. It's easier ordinances and policies and guidelines. Eau Claire, as a growing city, is new to the food truck business. As you can see before, there was 5 trucks that were for private property. My theoretical framework, Kurt Lewin theory, 1940, came up with a theory called freeze, unfreeze, and refreeze. And a freeze is like the current situation, and now there's a problem, and so they have to make that change. They have to unfreeze that, and they have to find a solution to their new problem, and then they have to get everybody on the same page to refreeze, which is to make it stick and enforce this change. As you can see here, there's Kurt Lewin, and as you see, he's got the change, refreeze, and the unfreeze. My research design sampled 3 out of 10 food trucks in Eau Claire. Sampled responses purposely because they met the criteria that I was looking for. 9 questions I had for an open-ended survey, and I followed up with personal interviews. Some of them I did on email and one I did on the interview. How I developed my context, sample, and instrument. How I designed my questionnaire. My questionnaire basically steered to the history of food truck owners, the advantages and disadvantages of food truck owners. How I sampled my participants. I emailed all 3 of them, and 2 of them answered questions by email, and 1 I met face-to-face to interview him with these questions. Problems I had collecting my data was finding food truck owners online to try to find food truck owners here in Eau Claire. Getting my responses as answers back, it took me almost 2 weeks to get everything back so I could do the other things that I had to do, analysis and all that. Validity and reliability of my data. Responses were anonymous. Responses among the sample responses were kept secret from each other. I didn't tell anybody what the other ones had answered. Responses were given permission to opt out of responding to the questionnaires if they were not comfortable in answering. Collect data. I did by emails again, face-to-face, phone call to City Hall, and observations while I was doing the one face-to-face. I got to observe how he conducted his business and everything there. And Davis Dogs is really good at customer service and handling his customers and making them feel happy, satisfied. Data analysis. I did this on Microsoft Word, which was me putting the 9 survey questions. I reviewed all the answers of each 3 ones, and I showed each questions and answers from food truck owners. And when I say showed them down the road here, you'll be seeing my answers. I didn't show the other food truck owners. Findings. What I found, the advantages, you can go to crowds or customers. If we really have a restaurant, they come to you, and here you could go to large groups and stuff like that. Lower overhead, you don't need a bus boy or a bus person. You don't need any waitresses as much, so you don't need fewer employees. You don't need a seating person to seat you. You can work whenever you want. I mean, you can work 7 days a week. You can work 3 days a week, like on the weekend. That's however long you want to work. You can even work all year round if you want. If you go from, summer working here, and in winter months going south, you can work year round. Disadvantages: the weather. If it's raining, then they can't stay open because the customer is not going to get out of the car to go to them and check that out. So if the weather's there, they're home because they can't do the business. If the truck breaks down, then they might be out of commission for a couple of days to get it fixed. How I interpret my findings? I interpret my findings that the city is a big obstacle for food truck owners because of guideline, permits, and licenses. The guidelines for City Hall and the Health Department are strict. All right, here is my questions. My first question was, tell me about the history of your business. Hub bought his truck off of eBay, and he could change his menu depending on what customers want wherever he's at. Gordo's food truck, he was thinking about buying a restaurant, and then they thought it would be cheaper to buy this food truck, and his wife advised him that she did some research, and he decided to go with the food truck over the restaurant. Davis Dogs built and customized his own. He built a step-up van, and then he did everything himself. He bought a book for $35 online to do this for instructions, and he said he just could not, the instructions were terrible. So he wound up going to the health and said, okay, show me how to build this truck. Tell me about any possible guidelines you have faced in your business. The Hub. Additional license besides Wisconsin license you need here. Gordo's food trucks had strict guidelines. Davis Dog said he was okay with guidelines. How profitable is your business? Explain your answer. The Hub said in black the second year he was open. Gordo's food truck says it was extra income. He's a chef and his wife is a teacher. Davis Dogs, it's profitable you want. Like I said, you can work 7 days a week or a weekend. Where do you go with your business, food business? The Hub, special events, knowing how many customers in groups. Gordo's food trucks, there's larger events, pretty much the same thing as the special events. Davis Dogs, Eau Claire he goes to, and he goes to Menominee. What advantages are there about owning a food truck business? The Hub says bring food to the customers. As we were saying before, that the customers can come to you. Gordo's food truck, he says lower overhead than a restaurant. Savings brings high, good quality foods. Davis Dogs, he's work when you want to, and you can go to the customers. What disadvantages are there about owning a food truck business? The Hub, seasonal weather. Gordo's food truck, if the truck breaks down, like I said, it might be a couple of days before he could go to another one. Davis Dogs is the weather. Are there any concerns you'd like to talk to me about? The Hub, licensing and guidelines? Go to his food truck. You had none. There was dogs, no concern. I stand up for the other food truck owners, so he tries to fight for the other food truck for guidelines or whatever. Tell me any other thing you want to share. The hub, solid business plan. Have to have a really good business plan, and he said it could be fun. And the one that he has is the cost of insurance and permits that are pricey or spendy. Go to his food trucks, nothing else. David's dogs. I would love to share how to build a food truck properly. When I went and I seen him face to face, he said that when I see him face to face, he wanted to write a book about how to do a food truck properly. Do you know what other cities are doing better than Eau Claire is not doing as far as food trucks? Hub says don't go anywhere else. Go to those food trucks in smaller cities like La Crosse or Green Bay is more popular than Eau Claire. David's Dogs, Arizona is a big population, and they have a lot of food trucks and stuff. And Eau Claire struggles with being newer, and the city streets can only park for 4 hours, and it takes about an hour to set up, so it's 2 hours there. Plus, one of the reasons being is if you have to go to the bathroom, you can't just leave.